Hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Dragon Difference podcast with LOCS Superintendent Heidi Mercer. And I'm Mark Snyder. I'm the Director of Communications and Marketing for Lake Orange Community Schools. And our guest today is Middle School Teacher of the Year, Beth Sims. Hey, Beth.
Hi, thank you very much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, Beth works at Walden, but she's served many roles in the district over her years. So maybe let's start there. Beth, you want to give us a little background of your time in the district?
I have been in the district. This will be the end of my 17th year. And as you mentioned, I have been all around in many different buildings. So I started out in Walden, and then I moved to an elementary position where I worked at Stadium Drive Elementary. I've also been at Blanche Sims and Carpenter Elementary, and just circled back to come back to Walden Middle School, where it all started, to teach middle school choir again.
I guess let's start there. I mean, I guess how different are these levels?
Well, it depends. It was a really big adjustment after I taught middle school for so many years to go and to teach kindergarten. I had no idea what I was doing. I had 25 of them staring at me, and I'm just like, I do not know how I'm going to survive this. And after I got my feet wet and I started to figure out how differently things need to be structured when you're at an elementary level compared to a middle school level, things started to go a lot more smoothly. And I really fell in love with my time at the elementary level. When I got back to middle school, after I had all of that elementary experience, I began to realize that, oh, okay, so middle school is sometimes a lot like teaching kindergarten, especially eighth graders at the end of the year. There are a lot of going back over routines and procedures. There's a lot of please stop talking, it's my turn. There's a lot of patience that you need to have where you're like, oh, well, I guess it really isn't as different as I thought.
Heidi, you were a middle school principal. You remember some of this?
In fact, when you were just describing, when you said, you middle school and then to kindergarten,
Yes.
and it was such a difference, I'm thinking, no, not really. And then you just circled back around like, yes,
Right.
there are a lot of similarities
There's a
for
lot
sure.
of similarities. I mean, yeah, especially as we're getting ready for our final concert of the year this evening.
Yeah.
You can just, I don't know how many times I had to look at them today and go, I just need you to lock in for 5 minutes and sing this song. And they're like, what? And it's just, it's that they're so excited and ready for summer moment that you have to just circle them back in and get them focused, just like you would with kindergartners
Yep.
or lower elementary. It's the same thing.
For sure.
The idea of, engaging with them, that's something that's learned over time. When you start teaching, right, you think you've been through all the classes, you think but then now, all these years in, you have a different relationship with students than you did then.
You do. I mean, it's really, I always said that being an educator has made me a better parent, and being a parent has made me a better educator. And I feel like the two have gone hand in hand as I've moved through my journey as being a parent and being an educator, where you learn different things from each position that you have, and you're able to exchange them into the other position. And a lot of the things that I learned that helped me be a good parent and be a good educator came from the people around me. And when I first started, you're always like, oh, I can't ask for help. I can't ask for help because, then people are going to think badly of me. And once I realized and I opened the floodgates and said, hey, I need help, and started asking some questions and learning from my colleagues around me, that I really realized, oh, teaching isn't just a singular sport. It's a team effort. And if you don't have a team in place that is going to help you do what's best for every student, then it's going to be a very long, lonely, and bumpy road. So I have definitely learned over my years of teaching to use my resources wisely, and that we're not just in a bubble, that we all need to contribute together for the success of the students.
Heidi, you can see, obviously, and everyone else who's watching this can see Beth's personality and why she's such a great teacher. I mean, can you share a little bit the things that stand out about her that make her so great?
Absolutely. I think obviously the first one is just the energy and the passion that you have for not only teaching, but for your students. I mean, it's undeniable. We can hear that in your voice. And like I said, the excitement that you have. And that is one of the things that I think is so important. Mm-hmm. You have to have that. Students have to feel that.
do.
And
Absolutely.
they
And
pick
can
up
tell.
on it. Absolutely. Yes.
If you're not interested in what you're teaching, especially at the middle school level, they're not going to have the buy-in that you need in order to be successful.
Yes.
And I have been very lucky where I have grown up as a theater kid and a choir kid my entire life. And this is something that it's a dream to be able to go and to share my experience with our students at not just the middle school level, but also at the elementary level, and show them my enthusiasm and my passion for what I love to do. And it gets contagious.
It does.
But if you don't have that buy-in, then they're not going to follow you along where you need them to go.
Yep. So
So-
that is definitely first and foremost and very evident. The other thing I think is, and you had mentioned this, is wanting to be part of a team. And I think that is one of the things that is special about Lake Orion staff in general.
Agreed.
Is that it's not just close your door and this is
Nope.
my class and I'm going to teach. The staff really does enjoy collaborating with one another. They support one another and really work as a team.
And I have been so lucky. Like, I have been so blessed to have worked with some amazing people who have retired, who are still here. I mean, Karen Meehan, when I worked at the elementary level, she was my art counterpart. And we were literally a team. She may have taught art and I may have taught music, but we did everything as a group. I had a second grade production coming up, and she looked at me and she's like, okay, what can I do to help? What does the artwork need to look like? What can I do for these kids? And the same at the middle school level with, I have art teacher Amanda Miller, and we also have Megan Ferris, who was a former colleague of ours over at Stadium Drive. We all get to do the middle school musical together. And this was like, just like we got the band back together.
Right.
And we were able to, we worked together so many years ago, and we found our way back to each other, and we all have the same theater kid persona where this is what we love to do. And to be able to work with them and to create this musical and get over 85 kids involved backstage, behind the scenes, or on stage, it's the favorite part of my year. And I couldn't do it. I'm one person. There is no way I would be able to give that experience to our students if I didn't have the collaboration and didn't have the support and the help. And that's what makes Lake Orion so great, is that it's there. You just have to go and find it and ask for it, and people are more than willing to help out, which is wonderful.
So interesting, because when we go to see the shows and we talk to students, the ones who are on stage obviously have what you have. They have this
Sure,
experience,
sure.
but the other ones who build the sets, who do the
yes.
lights and stuff like that, they're so proud too to be a part of it, even though they're
Yes.
not on the stage.
Even if they're not on the stage. And what I love is that Mrs. Miller, she was a tech kid. Okay, so she did all of the background stuff. I do not have, we always joke, I have zero spatial relations. I have no idea what's going on. And she's in charge of all of that. And she takes those kids and they do the costumes, they do the props, they do the set design. It's all student focused, and she puts everything together for that backstage experience. And then they're in charge of the lights, they're in charge of moving the set. They are just as important as those actors on the stage, which is something that sometimes is hard in a theater community because you always have I'm an actor, I'm the most important. In our shows, everybody is equally as important, and we all work together to put on that final production, which makes it such an amazing experience for our students.
Now, is it automatic that choir kids want to be in the show?
Most of them do. However, I have a lot of students that if they don't want to be in the show, they want to work backstage with Mrs. Miller. And we have a lot of students that, they're like, well, I want to do both. And I'm like, you can't do both. You got to pick one. But if they were backstage last year, then this year they decided, no, I think I want to be on stage this year. So there's a little bit of growth and development. What's also really special about our musical is that we make sure that everyone is included. We are firm believers in that the theater and the performing arts is for everyone. And if you want to be on that stage or you want to be working backstage, we will find a place for you. And we had several students who were in our CI program at Walden who participated in our show either on the stage or backstage, and we were able to make some accommodations for those students to be part of the show. And now we have several students who are like, yeah, I want to do the full thing next year. And we're like, great, because the support is there and the enthusiasm is there, and we want to make sure that everyone is included, regardless of any situation that they may have.
That's interesting because the inclusion is a tenet of what you've done, with the administration here too.
Yes. And I think that's two big pieces that you pointed out is one, right, the staff that we have now in these current positions believe that every student
Yes.
can
100%.
do something.
Yes.
Right? And so that's huge. And the other is the inclusivity. And I'm going to be honest, I've been in this district for 30 years, and this is the best that I have ever seen middle school programming in the
We've worked,
theater. and
Mrs.
the
Mulville
musicals.
and I have worked really hard over at Walden to make sure that students, if they would like to be a part of the choir program as well and sing, that we are able to make that happen for those students in whatever way is possible. And we've had a lot of conversations. It's been a lot of trial and error going, hey, do you think this student would be part? Let's try it and find out. And then it turns out to be this really amazing fit. And we're able to make the accommodations so that choir is for everyone. And that's what really makes my heart happy is that we can, when you look at our choir concert on our stage, you're going to see students of all different ability levels. And that is what really makes my heart sing and what makes this job so worthwhile. And again, couldn't have done that without the help, which is why I am so appreciative to be where I am.
Right. And I think that is so important at the middle school level.
Yes.
It's students need that boost of confidence.
Absolutely.
They need to try something new, step out a little bit of their comfort zone, and realize that they can do anything they set their mind to.
That's what middle school should be.
Absolutely.
They should be able to try out whatever it is that they want to try out and experience as many different experiences as possible before they head on to high school, and it gets a little more selective in what they choose to do. And that's what I try to do is I want to give them all of the experiences that they can possibly have, because you never know which ones are going to be the light bulb moment that you're like, yes, that really is something I want to do. And I wouldn't have learned that if I didn't have the opportunity to try. And that is what's so imperative about middle school, is that it should be a place to experience and to explore and to just start figuring out who you are. And if they don't have access to those opportunities, then they're never going to know if it's something that they want to do or not. So yes, I am a firm believer at that at the middle school level as well.
It seems like, at least in the time I've been here, which is almost 10 years, that now the plays and the musicals at the schools are more ingrained in the whole school environment, whereas before, those were the theater kids and these were the athletic kids, and now it seems like it's spanning more of the.
This is the end of my second year here at Walden, and I've definitely noticed that we are definitely including everyone. We have a lot of band students that are involved in the musical. We have a lot of, sports players where we have to work around the track schedule to make sure that they can be included as well. Same with volleyball. We have a lot of students that are in like the exploring theater class over at the middle school that are like, yeah, I want to do that on a bigger scale. So it is a wide variety of students, and everybody knows when the musical's coming. Everybody knows when the announcement's going to be. Even if they're not involved in the musical, they know what it is. They definitely pick up on some of the different songs, and you can hear different kids in different classrooms, singing different snippets because, theater kids get excited. They like to put on a show anywhere. And you can feel the energy build as you get to those performances, and everybody knows it's musical time, whether they're involved or not.
What's the thread between the regular classes, like the core classes, I guess it would be, and the specials like you do? Is there some kind of, you said you see that you hear the core class teachers talk about that, but I mean, is there some kind of connection where one benefits the other?
I've always thought that the performing arts is something that every student should experience, especially outside of the elementary level. I feel like 5th grade is just too young for a student to stop doing a performing arts. And there are so many benefits to a student participating in the performing arts that I feel like all of those different things, like, public speaking skills, memorization, self-control, working together as a team to complete a project, all of those travel into those core classes and give them skills to be successful wherever they choose to end up. So I always think that what we do in the performing arts is something that can travel to the core classes, and that whether they know it or not is being used in those different skill sets as well.
Beth, could you take us through your journey from when you were little? I mean, you said you were always a theater kid. I mean,
Yes.
where did this start to emerge?
I was always a theater kid. In elementary school, I was the one, that was always singing in music class all the time. I grew up in Royal Oak, and one of our community theaters, Stagecrafters, that was the big community theater in the area. And as soon as I could audition at 8 years old, I went and auditioned for my first show.
Wow.
And yeah, and it's pretty funny because my mom's like, oh,
8.
I don't know about this. And I remember I used to wear a hat. Like, I had this cute little hat that I got from the Limited 2. And that ended up being like my signature piece, where every audition that I went to, I wore this hat. So they knew me as the girl in the hat. So that was kind of like they'd realize, oh, there she is again. And I just started doing it. And they had 2 shows a year, and I wanted to be in every single show possible. And I was lucky enough to be cast and continue to work through that all the way through high school. In high school, I did choir and drama club and the Madrigal Singers and anything you could think of that was singing or performing arts related. That was what I was involved in. I did have aspirations of becoming a musical theater major when I got to college, or a vocal performance major. And my father finally looked at me after 2 years in college, and he goes, I support you in this. I think it's great if this is what you want to do, but you also need to earn a living.
Right.
So what are you going to do to support yourself if this whole musical theater thing doesn't work out? Which is when I finally decided, hey, I'm going to try out that music ed degree and see what that's about. And then once I got involved with the students, I was like, this is where I belong. And it's been nice that I get to share my journey with them. And I still get to do theater. And I still get to do music. And it was definitely worked out for the best, I feel, because, yes, being able to support yourself is very important. And I'm lucky enough to do what I love to do every single day. So not a lot of people can say that they can keep doing that, and I do.
Well, clearly you're natural at both, so that we're lucky to have you. Obviously, Heidi, performing arts is something in musical, and all of those things are things that the district really supports. It's valuable. Obviously, people on the outside a lot of times think of those core subjects, but these are part of well-rounded students.
Absolutely. I say it's vital, honestly, because every student has to have a connection. And a lot of students, don't always see that through their core classes. A lot of times this is where, their interests lie. And so it is offering those types of opportunities so that we can ensure that we are, meeting all of the needs of our students, and they are well-rounded.
When I ask my students and I go, what is your favorite thing about choir? And they look at me and they say, it's being with my friends. It's those relationships that are built doing something and working towards a common goal. So it always impresses me. I'm like, you don't like the fun songs? You don't like, when we do this activity and they're like, well, yeah, it's great. But the most important thing for me is being with my friends. And I love being able to make that connection for them, so that maybe they're hanging out with people that they didn't really expect to be hanging out with. And now they have this circle of friends that wherever they go and whatever they choose to do, they're always going to have a friend that was in choir with them. And it is so important to them as their development just to have that group. And I love that that's always the one thing that they tell me over and over again is, yeah, I get to be with my friends.
Yep, that common interest.
That common interest, yep.
As we wind down here, Heidi, do you have some thoughts on kind of what the impact is of teachers and the Teacher of the Year and her being selected as Teacher of the Year?
Well, first of all, Beth, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful pick of Teacher of the Year. And, I think the work that you have done throughout the district for, the many years that you have been here, and most recently at the middle school, like I said, I am just so excited. And you guys aren't done yet.
Not done.
I know.
Not even close.
I can feel the passion and the energy, so I can't wait to see what is yet to come. But truly, thank you for everything that you have done, not only for students, colleagues, our district, and our community. We are truly blessed to have you.
Well, thank you so much. I am so happy to be here.
Well, thank you very much for being here with us today, and we look forward to our next Dragon Difference podcast. Thanks a lot, Beth.